Just another night. I think it's too hard when my mind isn't right. I often wonder if I'm so far ahead or if I'm falling behind. Welcome to another edition of Lawns to Gardens. I'm your host, Randall Scott. We're in a lot of trouble. We have rising food prices, a crashing economy, rising gas prices. And so we have to go through a period of change. Well, in this edition, we're going to be taking a field trip out to see what we can do about our rising food prices. And it really all comes down to some very simple things we can do to fix this mess. One of them is just to take your kitchen waste and to discover the joys of vermicomposting. Worm poop is one of the big answers that's going to help us get through this oil mess we're in. Since oil is used as a fertilizer and it powers the diesel tractors that are getting our food for us, we're going to have to make these changes anyway. Now, we waste about 25% of our food here in America. There's 300 million of us in this country. Imagine if we started taking our food waste and just feeding it to worms, which poop out what we need to put into the ground to fix the soil, to make more food, and year after year, we get better yields out of that. So whether it's for yourself or you want to do this and just donate it to your local farmer who can then feed you, it's a good way to go. I do this at home all the time. And as you can see here, worms absolutely love when you feed them. It's pretty easy. Just take your scraps, put it in there. But you can put all sorts of stuff in there. And the worms will poop and give you the soil you need. We're going to take a field trip out and talk with somebody who's doing it for a living and making a lot of money at it.
Vermicompost is the process of using earthworms to reduce various kinds of organic material into a casting, a worm casting, which is really worm manure. And that worm casting then is used in the soil to feed the microbial activity. And it's the microbes that really feed the green plants. And so the whole process is how do you feed the microbes and how do you grow a really living soil is what this is all about.
So living soil is made of microbes that eat worm poop.
And eat lots of other things, including each other.
Really?
There's a book called...
Like Republicans. So let's say somebody had a lawn and they've been just following the old, throwing Scott's lawn on it, and they wanted to create a living soil. How long would it take them and what would they need to do in order to get healthy soil?
Just stop using the fertilizer and stop using the herbicides and pesticides on it, and then add the worm castings and the organic material to the lawn. One way is to use organic material like waste out of kitchens and restaurants and places like that. Worm things that would ordinarily go to a landfill. Use worms to break that down, and then that material is a vermicompost material. At a home, for example, you can use one of these worm bins. So this is what's called an upward migration tool. See the holes in the bottom? So when you put the worms and the food in here, then you stack it on the tray. When you put another level, the worms actually move up into the next tray and separate themselves from the castings. So this is something that a homeowner can do.
All right, so we're over here at my good friend Cedric's house. So you're actually using one of these things.
That's right.
Give us a tour of, having one of these. It's a worm high-rise that you have inside your house. Does it stink?
No. Can you smell it?
Not at all.
All right. Now, if you open it up, you can smell what's going on.
All right, so this is your kitchen scraps.
This is my kitchen scraps. Any food that goes to waste. I grilled some corn the other day. You can put paper, so the
what if you don't?
egg carton.
What if you're not a vegetarian? Can you put meat or
No?
not?
It's just like a regular compost, so no meat, bones, anything like that.
Okay.
But so you saw the top layer. That's not very exciting. I got the 4-rise bin, and what's great about this is I used the worm tea this morning, and so I'm out of it.
So this is the tea that
This
John
is
was
the-
talking about. He said you can
exactly.
use in a spray bottle,
Right.
To put on to keep aphids and stuff
Yeah.
off.
So I don't use it. I don't need it because of indoors, but I feed it to all my plants. And so here I have my plants, and all of this is the worm castings. So this is an entire pot of worm castings. I also have other pots that I use the worm castings. I'm trying to figure out actually where to use them right now. I have so much.
Too much worm poop. I'll take
Yes,
some.
exactly. So I have too much soil. And
You know, it's a
kind
good
of an
time
awesome place to be.
when your neighbors like you because you bring them poop.
That's right.
Show us some different layers
Yeah.
and how you operate it.
On the top layer, this is just a strawberry plant that died, and so there's all the soil in there. It comes with a manual on how to use it, how to rotate things, and all that sort of good stuff. It was really easy to put together. It's just a couple of screws. So the top layer is mostly what you see is just basic foodstuffs, but the any layer below that is progressively more and more worm castings. Now, when I prop up the second layer, you will definitely see a lot more worms.
Wow!
A lot more of what's going on. Most of these are probably the red wigglers. They're a little smaller, and they eat stuff more directly. But some of the larger ones are the African night crawlers.
So if you have bugs in your house, it's just natural.
Everything sort of stays contained in this thing, and I'm really happy about it. The only bug problem I had recently was the strawberry plant that died, and there's these little fruit flies that came about. On the third layer,
Look at
this is much more broken down, and it's starting to get heavy.
Yes. Sorry.
Oh, that's
Okay,
fine.
so there's less food in these layers, and these worms crawl up and down at their leisure.
Right. Now the last layer is, this is really heavy, but this is where the worm tea
This
comes
is the
in.
tea.
Now I got a lot of
All right, you can put it down.
a lot of castings and a lot of worms in there, so
Wow.
it's that simple.
This is anybody can do this.
It's super easy. Tea, coffee, paper, all the filters, newspaper, any of that. You get it wet, they'll go to town on it. It's really, really easy, and it was really exciting and really fun to start off with.
Yeah, what people discover is that the process of using those bins works very well in an apartment or in a place where they don't have any space. So what we're going to show you now is if you have some space, it's an easier way than using the bin if you want to.
All right, so what are we looking at here, John?
This is an alternative that we're experimenting with. So it's we bought some straw bales, and so it's about 4 straw bales long and about 3 straw bales wide, and we lined it with a 1/2 inch mesh wire, which is a hardware cloth, to try and keep the moles out. As you can see from around, we have lots and lots of moles because they like to eat worms.
So really, if we wanted to kick in commercial operations for anybody with land, they could literally become their local worm provider.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, so you could dig worms out of here if you wanted to. Those are the kind of the pieces of the business. So you can either provide worms or you can provide worm castings. Most people want the castings part to use in agriculture, and the worms are simply the tools to reduce the organic material so that you have the castings available, because it's the castings that feed the microbes.
By adding organic material each year, you're just going to keep seeing increased yields.
Yes, yes.
And we don't need oil.
No, you don't need oil. All you're doing is building and maintaining a healthy living soil by adding the organic material to it to let the microbes break it down. And so you're just, again, feeding the microbes. I was just going to say we have lots and lots of moles, and but they eat worms, and so it's just a healthy part of the process. The moles are a necessary part of the ecology, and they just bring wonderful topsoil up to the surface. This is what they leave, and so the moles are actually helping with bringing the quality topsoil up to the surface. This is just a bag of the commercially available castings that people can buy. So this is 16 liters of castings.
So we can save the planet if everybody would just fling bags of worm poo on their yard.
Yes, exactly.